Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to today's 2,000 point Arcs of Omen Grand Tournament Battle Report between the forces of the Leagues of Votann and the Emperor's Children Space Marines. Across the battlefield from one another, I have my Sons of Satan acting as Emperor's Children today, going to go up against the USRS forces of the Leagues of Votann in Mission 2-3 from Arcs of Omen, the Scouring. So it is a 5-objective mission with all 5 objectives here in No Man's Land. On the board, all of the ruined buildings that you're going to see are going to count as 5 inches or taller ruins. And line of sight blocking, scalable for infantry, and breaking up line of sights pretty well. So we have no objectives in either deployment zone, but it is going to be a fierce fight for the middle in today's battle report. So with that being the mission and the table, let's take a look at the armies. The forces of the Leagues of Votann are going to be run as USRS today, so +1 toughness and reroll failed morale tests. Our mandatory slot are elites, so taking you through the list as they're on the table before the battle begins. We have a squad of Chthonian Berserkers over here on this flank, with the plasma axes and the grenade launcher. Next to them is a 3-man squad of pioneers with searchlight, vox antenna, and heavy weapon. Then we have the warlord of a high call with plasma axe and bolt gun. Then in front of her is going to be a 10-man squad, or actually no, not a 10-man squad, an 11-man squad of warriors with the ion guns, a magna rail, vox antenna, and medic. Then next to them, for one of my other characters, is going to be the Brokir Forge Master with the points upgrade and the Forge Master specific warlord trait to help out the Hekaton Land Fortress with the heavy magna rail rifle, quad bolt cannons in the hull. The Land Fortress is also carrying my second squad of warriors inside, who have the bolt guns, an L7 missile launcher, a magna rail, medic, and a vox antenna and scanner. Then over here on this flank, we have an identical squad of pioneers, except with the rotary cannon, and then an identical squad of Chthonian Berserkers next to them on the very right flank, and my Psyker with Fortify and Interface Echo to bolster this side of the field. In Deep Strike, we also have the Einhir Champion and a squad of Einhir Hearthguard with plasma guns and fists. The Einhir Champion has Warrior, Lord, and Exactor to make him a big melee threat to bomb out into the lines of the Emperor's Children. It was a tough pick for secondaries for the Leagues of Votann, so I actually went with all 3 of the League-specific secondaries. That's going to be Prospects of Wealth, Ancestors of the Watcher, and Lay Claim. So we're going to need to try to kill things with Judgment tokens, get an action completed on the No Man Land objective, and hold on to these objectives that I'm using the blips from the Gene Stealer carts at the end of the game for 5 points each. So 2 of the blips are way back in the Votann deployment, and then the third and final is dead center on top of the center objective. So that is the squad of Leagues of Votann. So now let's take a look at the Emperor's Children. My force of Sons of Satan are going to be acting as the Emperor's Children today. So that is going to give them ignore all the hit, weapon skill, and ballistic skill modifiers. And then 6s to wound will give an additional AP of -1 for their Legion trait. Our Arcs of Omen necessary detachment are heavy support. So taking it left to right for the Emperor's Children, we have a squad of 10 Legionnaires with pistols and chainswords inside of a Rhino with Combi Bolter and Havoc Launcher. The Sergeant is going to have a Power Axe on him. Then next to them is a 5-man basic squad of Legionnaires just with bolters, and then a Chaos Lord in Terminator armor. He's going to have a relic of the Mantle of Traitors. That's a reroll hits in melee, and I can select somebody anywhere on the table to be in range of his reroll bubble. Then towards the center, we have a Mauler Fiend with Lasher Tendrils and a 5-man Havoc Squad. Two have a missile launcher, or not missile launcher, a las cannon, and 2 have heavy bolters. Then an identical squad of 5 basic Legionnaires on this flank, ready to set up on this objective with the Sorcerer right behind them. He has Warp Time and Prescience, but he's going to probably be the Psyker doing one of my secondaries. Then I have a 5-man, obviously Mark of Slaanesh, Terminator squad inside of my Rhino. And then finally I have a single Chaos Spawn represented by that mutated cultist. And then the Warlord, a new model to the channel, my Demon Prince with wings and sword. So he is obviously going to be a Demon Prince of Slaanesh. He has the Warlord trait of Loathsome Grace. That's going to be +2 move and reroll advance and charges for him. So hopefully using the wings and the Warlord trait to zip around and take out as many of the dwarves as possible. In Deep Strike, I also have a 3-man Obliterator squad hanging out in the sky. And then we have the rest of the Terminators and melee Legionnaires in the transports. For my secondaries, I have taken Adorn the Canvas, which is an Emperor's Children specific. So essentially I just need to kill in melee, kill in shooting, and try to hold the objectives on the field. I also have Raise the Banners High and Psychic Interrogation. So the goal is try to get my 3 objectives, the 2 nearby and the 1 in the center, put banners on them as soon as possible, and then hold them for the whole game, while killing the dwarves and interrogating their characters. So those are the 2 armies that we are bringing to today's fight. So let's go to the roll-off. So 2 very killy lists that are going to really do well in just getting into the center and trying to either shoot or fight the enemy off of the board. So we shall see who gets the first turn. Red die is Emperor's Children, blue die is going to be the dwarves. And that's a 5 for the Emperor's Children and a 4 with the Leagues of Votann. So it is going to be Emperor's Children, top of turn 1. Chaos Space Marines turn 1, and we have just moved on forward and started our game plan of pushing the center and holding it for the game. So we have moved on up with just about everybody. The lone spawn has advanced up here to hopefully draw out some attacks or some shooting from the Votann so it doesn't go into higher priority targets. Then over here we have 1 Legionnaire squad with the Psyker on this no man's land objective. The Land Raider has just moved on forward, while the Demon Prince with wings advanced back towards the center. The Las Cannon and Heavy Bolter Havocs have moved towards the center. They're getting the Chaos Lord's rerolls The Mauler Fiend has also moved on up towards the center, trying to stage towards the middle objective so that anything that gets in range of it is going to have to face a countercharge. Second squad of Legionnaires are also going to be over here, while the Rhino and Chaos Lord have both advanced up over to secure this flank of the field. So that is command and movement done for Psychic Phase. Not a ton to do, I think, so we will go through the Psychic Phase rapid. Yes, taking a look at powers. Nothing really to do for powers other than Delightful Agonies. So I'm going to go with Delightful Agonies from the Demon Prince onto the Havocs, needing a 6, and getting it with a 6, not within 24 inches of the Grimnir. So the Havocs are going to be set up pretty nicely in the center with reroll 1s to hit and a Feel No Pain. So with that, that wraps up the Psychic Phase, and now we'll go on to shooting. Starting off with the shooting phase, gonna probably not be the biggest shooting phase, but we do have the Havocs. I'm going to declare everything that they've got into that 11-man squad of Ion Warriors. This is going to be the Heavy Bolters first, trying to use up the free essentially Mark of Tzeentch from the meta pack. So hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, thanks to the Chaos Lord in Terminator armor. That's going to be 5 hits. Strength 5, Toughness 5, thanks to USSR, is going to be on 4s. Alright, and 4 wounds. AP 1 goes to AP none, so 4 up saves. Make 3, fail 1. That's going to go to damage 0, thanks to the meta pack, however. Then 2 last cannon shots. Reroll an R1, and then 3 to wound. Makes it. That's going to trigger Emperor's Children for an additional AP. That's going to go to -4 AP. Nothing that we can really do there. So, just the 1 damage. So, that's all I needed to kill one of the warriors. Off camera, I did remember that the High Call right behind that squad of Hearthkin does have a Rampart Crest, so a 5-up invuln in shooting. Rolled that off camera, got another 1, so unfortunately not enough. And then I put the 1 damage onto the 2 wound leader of the squad, just to try to make sure that we have a little bit less likelihood of a squad really starting to get wiped out. So with that, we're going to go on to the Chaos Land Raider, also into the Warriors, since they're the only things that I can see and target with them. This is going to be the Twin Heavy Bolters first, and then Force to Wound. Ooh, nothing there from the Heavy Bolter. And then the 4 las cannon shots. It'll be 4 hits. Then 3s to wound. 2 wounds against their 5-up Rampart Crest save. Fail both of those. So that's going to be D6 plus 2 on the Thane, which will kill, and 8 damage on another warrior, which will definitely kill him. I've also got the Combi Bolter on top, so I will do that really quick. Just the 2 shots. And Strength 4, Toughness 5, so 5s to wound. Nothing, so just 2 warriors killed. That is going to do it for shooting phase for the Emperor's Children, and that's going to do it for their turn 1. So in turn 1, I was able to raise a banner on this objective, raise a banner on this objective, so that's going to be 2 points next turn, And then hopefully I can set myself up for banner number 3 there in the middle. We were not able to score any points on Psychic Interrogation since the characters were too far away from either of my Psychers. And adorn the canvas Eclectic if I'm able to somehow get it so I have more objective markers at the end of the round. That'll be a point, but other than that, that'll be a scoreless turn 1. So now we go into Leagues of Votann turn 1, where they can start to respond. Leagues of Votann turn 1, and we have been cautious with our movement for the leagues, seeing that the Chaos Space Marines are trying to kind of set up countercharges and get everything into the middle. We are kind of sticking just to our 2 close objectives, not rushing off to fight in the center of the field. So in the command phase, I did use Combat Surgery for a CP to get the 2 models back into that unit. And the High Call gave full rerolls to this squad of Pioneers. And the Forge Master gave +1 to hit to the Hecaton Land Fortress, obviously, since it's the only vehicle in the list. Other than that, that was the command phase. For movement, we did advance this unit of warriors, so they're just going to work on that objective for the bonus for the mission, so they're going to try to claim that for the enemy, or for the Leagues of Votann. And then, other than that, everybody just kind of moved around, moved the Iron Master a bit back to hold this objective. Maybe I might need to end the game kind of just sitting in this corner for all of it, but that'll be 5 points easier on the secondary. So that'll do it for the movement phase. Moving on to Psychic, we only have the 1, the Grimnir. So I am going to try to start off with Interface Echo to farm a command point. So that'll do it. Get me up to 5 CP. And then 1 more for Fortify. On a 7, that will do it. So let me just take a moment to see if they are... Nope, so no chance to deny there. So I am going to end up fortifying... Actually, I'm going to fortify the Chthonian Berserkers just because there is a chance that they get charged by the close combat squad over here. And the more I can save, the better. So that'll do it for the Psychic phase. Now we go on to shooting. As we go into the shooting phase for the Leagues of Votann, just a couple of housekeeping things with actions. The Pioneers have scanned this objective for Prospects of Wealth, giving me 3 CVP on that secondary. That's not a rich resource, so that's not going to be an additional 3 if I hold it at the end, however. And then these warriors over here have claimed this objective for the bonus on the primary. So I know that scores at the end of the game, but there's not really anything that we can do as the CSM to stop that. So that'll be 3 points on bonus, 3 points on prospects. And then we are good to get going into the shooting phase. So to start everything off, we are going to go with the Hecaton Land Fortress first. I'm going to have the heavy Magna Rail go into the Land Fortress, and then everything else is going to go into the squad of infantry in the ruins nearby the Sorcerer. Bunch of CP spent on both sides, so 2 CP spent from the Emperor's Children on Blasphemous Machine and Smokescreen, so -1 to hit and -1 to damage on the Land Raider until end of the shooting phase. Then we're also going to spend 1 CP for the Votann on Hunter's Mark, so that we automatically hit with the 1 shot from the heavy Magna Rail cannon. So automatically hits, and then strength 14 into toughness 9 on a 3. That's not going to do it, and we do really need this to go through. So we'll spend a CP to reroll here, and not going to make it there. That's 2 CP spent on a Magna Rail cannon. That didn't do much for us. And then everything else from the land fortress is going to go into those legionnaires. Now we're going to go with the bolt cannons. So 8 shots hitting on 2s. Alright, so 2 of those are going to go right through since we are USRS. And we always count as having 1. And then strength 6, toughness 4, 3s to wound. So that will be a total of 5 at -2. So that'll be, they are in cover, so that's 2 up saves, -2, 4 up saves. So 4 ups or a dead legionnaire. Heaps. That is going to be 4 of them dead. And then the Matter autocannon is heavy 6 for 6 shots. Yep, so 2s. 2 misses. And then 3s again. And 4 ups. Alright, make 1, fail 2. So that'll be the squad of legionnaires wiped out, but a total miss on to the land raider. Next up in the shooting phase is going to be the squad of pioneers, and they are going to fire everything that they've got over into the havocs. So trying to see if I can get them to fail more saves than the 5-up Feel No Pain would actually be able to save them from. So everything from the pioneers, including the ion cannon, the shotguns, everything in range is going to go into that squad. Starting off with the ion beamer, 2 shots, 2 hits, strength 7, toughness 5, so 3 to wound, 1 wound at -2. We'll go to another 4-up save for the havocs. That'll make it. Shotguns are not in range, so we are going to have the autocannons next. So 9 shots in total. One of those will be or count as a hit. Then full rerolls thanks to the warlord, or the high call. And the autocannons are strength 7, so 3s again. And then 3-up saves. Alright, make 3, fail 3, or fail 4 actually. So I'm going to spend a CP to reroll one of these. Doesn't make it. And then those are 2 damage a time. So I have 8 5-up Feel No Pains. Actually, I should probably do these 1 at a time. So I have 8 of them. 1 dies. 2 dies. 1 lives. And then lives. So that did save another one, but that will be 3 of the havocs gone. The land fortress and the 1 squad of pioneers is actually all that we're going to shoot in the shooting phase. And then in chargers, we do have 1 squad of berserkers in range and able to charge this lone spawn. So we shall take a 7-inch charge with an 11. We will make it with gusto. So get everybody in range of the spawn. Try not to overextend so that the Space Marines can just automatically counter-respond, but that should be able to get us another kill. Starting off with all of the attacks from the axes, I'm going to go with the strike profile. So, hitting on 3s. And then strength 6, toughness 5, so 3s to wound. Dropped 2 of them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at -3 AP. 2 damage a time will be more than enough to take out a single Chaos spawn. So, no need to do the double gauntlets. That'll be the squad. And then that will be the turn 1 for the squads. So, 2 units taken off of the board from the Chaos Space Marines. 2 3-point chunks, either from a bonus or secondary, brings a 6-point lead to the Leagues of Votann. So with that, we are definitely in a good spot right now, but I think now that we are in turn 2, the Chaos Space Marines will definitely be able to start charging in and making things complicated for the Leagues of Votann as we go into Battle Round 2. Turn 2 with the Chaos Space Marines, and we have put our game plan into motion, moving up and claiming the middle. So everything is on the board, and everything is claiming our little triangle of objective markers. We scored 2 points on the banners that we have raised, 8 points on Hold 1, Hold 2. And if we have anything to say about it, we will have more at the end of the battle round. So we have put the reroll 1s onto the 2 remaining Havocs, who are just taking up a position in this building to be a nuisance for the rest of the game for the Hecaton Land Fortress, hopefully. The Obliterators have come down to the middle and are joined by the Mauler Fiend. The Terminators and the Demon Prince are eyeing up the Berserkers over here, and this squad of warriors to also try to clear them off of the objective. The Land Raider and Sorcerer are just hunkering up onto this objective, knowing that we have the Iron Hero Champion and the squad coming down in the next turn or so. We've also just moved around with the infantry squad and the Rhino, making sure that we don't have an easy charge and we can hold on to this objective over on this flank. So that does it for the movement phase and command phase. Going on to Psychic, we are going to attempt Psychic Interrogation from the Sorcerer, as we are visible to and in line of sight of the High Call. With a 7, that'll get off on the Psychic Interrogation, and then we're also going to do another round of Delightful Agonies from the Demon Prince. On a 6 for Delightful Agonies, will, gone past it in the book. That's a 6, so that is a 5-up save, and this time I'm going to put it on the Terminators. That's Psychic phase done. A little bit more survival Terminators, a little bit of points. And now we go on to shooting. We're going to start off with the shooting phase from the Land Raider. Its las cannons are going to go into the Land Fortress, and everything else is going to go into the squad of warriors on that No Man's Land objective. So we'll start off with the las cannons. 3 hits, and then 4s to wound. 1 wound. Yeah, we'll use a CP to try to reroll that. So, makes it on a 6. So that'll bring us down to 3 CP. Minus 3 AP, going to minus 2, thanks to armor, or void armor from the Leagues. So 4-up save, make 1, fail 1. And thanks to the Forge Master, I am going to 0 out the damage from the Land Raider. So that'll be no damage suffered on the vehicle there. Next up, we go to the Heavy Bolter and Storm Bolter on top into the Warriors on 3s. That's a full round of hits. Unfortunately, no explosion since we're in turn 2. And then Strength 5, Toughness 5, Force to Wound. Just the 2. Minus 1 will bring them to a 3-up save. Make 1, fail 1. And that'll force out the Mark of Zinch from the meta pack. And then finally the Combi Bolter hits both times, doesn't wound. So forced out the 0 damage from the Forge Master. So now we can go ahead and go into some other shooting. And we'll go right ahead into the Havocs with 2 las cannons into the Land Fortress on 3s and 4s. Make 1, fail 1. 4-up save. Makes it there. So that is not an awful lot successful shooting from the Chaos Space Marines yet. Next up is going to be the Terminators. I'm going to fire everything from the Terminators into the Hearthkin Warriors. And we are going to hit on 3s. Rerolling 1s thanks to the Demon Prince being close by. Taking out the 2s. Only 2 explosions for 6s. And then Strength 4, Toughness 5, 5s to wound. We'll do that many. 6s will be an additional AP, so AP 1 goes to AP minus none. So that'll just basically all be on 3-up saves. Only fail the 1. Oof, not a lot of action happening here from the shooting phase. For the last bit of major shooting, I'm going to have the Obliterators go into the Warriors. We are going to go with the Warp Hail, so that's going to be 3d6 plus 27. I rolled 14, so that's going to be 41. Strength 5, AP 1, damage 1 shots onto the Warriors. Alright, so after all was said and done, 11 wounds in total went through. 4 of them, thanks to wounding on 6s, are at AP minus 2. It goes to AP minus 1, so brings us back up to our 4-up save. That's going to be 3 damage taken, and then the other 7 will be at 0 AP, so 3-up saves for another 3. So 6 damage taken from 3 Obliterators. And at the beginning of the charge phase, here's how we're looking. We were unfortunately not able to get anything dead in shooting, so no points on Adorn the Canvas Eclectic there this turn. And I did remember that I should have been putting on Judgment tokens for everybody who was doing the actions. So the Sorcerer has 1 on him for doing the Psychic action. And this squad is going to have 2, 1 for raising the banner and 1 for doing the bonus action to claim this objective. So that is going to be claimed for the Chaos Space Marines, so 3 additional points there. And then we get into the charge phase. First thing that we're going to do is we are going to charge the Demon Prince into the Chthonian Berserkers. With an 11, we're going to make it with room to spare. And then for the Terminators, not quite sure. I'd love to make sure that those warriors also die in close combat, but I want to also make sure that the Berserkers are taken out as well. So even with the reroll, I think the squad of warriors might lose some more due to morale, since they are very, very low. I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to try to make sure that the squad of Chthonian Berserkers is gone. So Terminators into Berserkers. With the double 6, that will get them in with room to spare. I'm also going to go in with the Mauler Fiend, just to continue acting as a speed bump, try to have him be the more immediate worry, so that maybe the Land Raider can actually start doing some damage to the Land Fortress. So he's going to need a 7. Not going to make it on a 5. And I'll spend a CP to reroll that, try to get the Mauler Fiend in. With an 8, he will get it and go into combat. So definitely pulling no punches here, trying to punch our way through everything and anything. We're going to start off with the Chaos Terminators into the Berserkers. Figure that I might as well get them in, try to will them down so that I can kill with the Demon Prince and get an extra point for Adorn the Canvas. So that'll be all these attacks. If I can get that into my hand, of course. On 3s. And then on 5s to wound, because of the +1 toughness. So those 6s will be an additional AP, and then those 5s will not. So we are going to have 3 5s at their, or actually all of these are going to go on their 5-up invuln. Make 1, and then the 4-up Feel No Pain, thanks to it being damage 1, will have 2 damage taken to the warriors. Since the Berserkers get to fight on death anyway, and the Pioneers probably aren't going to do much to a Mauler Fiend, I'm going to choose not to interrupt. I'm going to go right on through to the Demon Prince. So 6 attacks with the Hellforged Swords on 2s. And then Strength 8, Toughness 5, 3s to wound. Then the 5-up invuln. Make 2 of those. And then 2 times of a 5-up Feel No Pain. That'll kill 1. And a half of the warriors. So I took the 2 wounds that went through on the one with the grenade launcher. Then I will put another wound onto the one with the fists. After doing a little bit of checking on the datasheet, I did catch my mistake, guys. The Chthonian Berserkers do not have an invuln save, so going through the clips that we just went through, rectified the mistake, so it's only 2 of them left, and they did their attacks into the Demon Prince after he killed them, or after they died, rather, and he is down to 6 wounds. So a little bit more balanced, kind of a little bit more what it should be, with no invuln save on the Berserkers there. Now we're good to go into the final attack, or final close combat from the Chaos Space Marines. So this is going to be the Mauler Fiend with its fists into the Bikers. 6 attacks on 3s. And then on 2s to wound. 5 at -3, so one of those was a 6, so that'll go to -2, -1, so a 5-up save on that one makes it, and then 6-up saves on the rest make 1, fail 3, so D3 plus 3 a time. So minimum 4 damage, that will be the squad wiped, and a judgment token onto the Mauler Fiend. At the end of the turn, we are on 15 points for the Chaos Space Marines, with 2 of them from Adorn the Canvas Eclectic, since I killed the Pioneers in close combat and control 3 objectives to the Votann's 2. 2 of the warriors still remain after failing their morale test. The 2 berserkers left in melee with the Demon Prince and the Terminators are still around, but hopefully, or probably not for much longer. We put another judgment token onto the Land Raider, since it is on an objective. And then that'll do it for the turn. So definitely starting to whittle down on the dwarves' forces, but not as much as we would have liked. I think we would have liked to have this squad completely gone and the berserkers completely gone to kind of cut into this flank very well. But we will take what we can as we go into Leagues of Votann, turn 2. Turn 2 with the Leagues of Votann. We have scored 8 points for holding 1 and holding 2 objective markers. So that's going to bring us up to 14 victory points. We also were able to bring back 3 of the squad over here from the metapacks, keeping us on 4 CP. Our Forge Master, again, has given +1 to hit to the Land Fortress, while the High Call has not given her rerolls out to anybody. She is going to pass them out to, let's see, she was in there, they weren't in there, so yes, I think the full rerolls to hit are going to go on to the squad of warriors right here on this objective. In terms of movement, we also got the Bolter squad out of the Land Fortress. This squad of Pioneers have moved up, setting their sights onto this squad on the objective, while the Berserkers have just moved up a little bit into the cover. And then in the backfield, the Einhyr and the Hearthguard have both dropped down to take a swing at the Land Raider. So the goal is to get the Land Raider down this turn, get that squad of infantry, too zoomed in here, in or off the table, and then get going on to the rest of the game. That is movement and command phase. So we'll move on to a quick psychic phase and then shooting. Psychic from the Grimnir, we're going to go with a Fortify on an 8. That is going to go on to the Bikers. And then we're actually going to do a Smite on a 9. So that'll be onto the Obliterators. 3 mortal wounds to an Obliterator. I'll try to deny that if I'm in range with the Sorcerer. I don't think that I am, however. 24, no, out of range Sorcerer. So 3 wounds on an Obliterator. Starting off the shooting phase, we're going to go with the Einhyr Hearthguard. Their plasma guns are going to go into Land Raider. I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did last turn, so spend 2 CP on -1 damage and -1 to hit. Just refreshing, let's see. Alright, so I can reroll wounds of 1. So it'll be hitting on 4s. And then because it has 2, it has 5s and 6s automatically hit. Strength 8, toughness 9. So no wounds there. -4 AP will be 6s to save. Make 1, fail 2. So that will be 2 damage going on to the Land Raider. Then the Einhir Champion's gun. Probably not much to speak about here. So 3s to hit. Alright, and then 6s to wound. Oh, wow. Alright, so 3 wounds at AP -1, so 3 ups. Actually takes the same amount of damage off of it as the plasma guns did. Huh. So that is that back kind of pocket of dwarves done. Now we move on to the big guns of the land fortress. So, still trying to get the anti-take weaponry off the field. We are going to dedicate the 1 shot from the Magna Rail into the Land Raider. And then everything else is going to go into these obliterators here in the center. So, I spent 1 CP to automatically make the 1 shot from the Magna Rail a hit. So, 3 up to wound. Makes it on a 5 to wound. -4 will be 6 up save for the Land Raider, and he makes it. So, not great shooting last turn from the Space Marines, but we did make saves when we needed to. Whew, very, very lucky there. So, now we will go on to the Matter autocannon and the bolt cannons into the obliterators. This will be on 3s. USRS counts as always being in, or 1 token. So, strength 7, toughness 5, so 3s to wound. That'll be 5 at -2, so 4 up saves. Alright, so fail 3. 2 damage a time, so that will kill the 1 and then bring 1 down to 1 wound. And then the 8 shots from the bolt cannon, so 2, 4, 6, 8 shots. 2s. 6 will automatically go through. Then strength 6, toughness 5, so 3s again. Take one of those out. -2 AP, 4 up saves. Will kill 1, and then bring the last one down to 3 wounds remaining. So, lucky save on the Land Raider, but the obliterators are starting to lose their foothold. In terms of shooting, we're actually pretty limited because I'm going to do Prospects of Wealth action here with this 5-man squad to get me 3 points right away. And then the bonus objective or bonus action is also going to be performed here by the Berserkers. So that's going to get me another 3 points, but tie up their shooting. So really the only things left we have for shooting are the 2 squads in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all of the bolt weaponry from this squad of warriors go into the lone obliterator. And then the Magna Rail and missile launcher is going to start trying to take some wounds off of the Mauler Fiend. So starting off with the bolters. I'm going to reroll my 1 since I count as being in range of the call thanks to my antenna. So on 3s to hit. There we go. The 6s will go right on through till morning. Then wounding on 5s. Oof, all right, so total of 6, 7 at -1 AP. Goes to a 3-up save. Will fail 2. Bring him down to 1 wound. and then the heavy weapons into the Mauler Fiend. So, the focused missile from the missile launcher, 1 shot on a 3. Misses on a 2. Yeah, I'm not going to reroll that. And then the Magna Rail rifle on a 2 again. So, didn't kill anything. Did bring the 1 obliterator down to 1 wound, though. Finally, for the shooting phase, the second squad of Pioneers is going to put their shotguns into the obliterator, and then everything else is going to go down here onto the squad on this objective. So, the shotguns are 6 shots, 3s, reroll my 1 thanks to the antenna, 3 6s, and then strength 5, toughness 5, so forced wound, pick up another 1, 4 wounds at -1, so 3 ups. He'll fail 2, so that will be the last obliterator obliterated, and then the rest of the squad's shots into the Legionnaires. Starting off with the autocannons on 3s. Oof, full hits and 2 auto hits, or auto wounds rather. And then 3s to wound. AP2, or AP1 goes to AP nuns to set recover, so 3 ups. Yep, I kind of cocked that, so 2 fail, and those are 2 damage a time, so that'll be 2 of them off the board. And then finally the rotary cannon, that's cocked, reroll my 1, so full round of hits, no auto wounds though, 3s, only take out 2. -2 will take us to a 4th save and make all of those. So only 2 of the squad taken out there. In the charge phase, we do have 2 chargers to do with the Hearthguard and the Champion. As you can see, one of them is missing. I was able to get a single las cannon shot through and kill one of them as they came charging in first. So it's going to be a 9-inch charge on a 5. That's not going to do it, but we will save the reroll to make sure that maybe the Exactor Iron Here Champion can get in. 1, 3. Definitely use a CP reroll here. Nope, so that's going to be 1 Hearthguard down and 1 CP down as we go into the fight phase. Continuing fights go to the Chaos Space Marines first, and I think these 2 Chthonian Berserkers are gonna go bye-bye. The Demon Prince was able to clean up the 2 Berserkers, but unfortunately he was wounded pretty severely, so only 2 wounds left on the Demon Prince of Slaanesh. That did get us another point on Paint the Canvas. And that is going to do it for the end of the turn. Yep, and that actually will get us another judgment token onto the Demon Prince, since he was the one to kill the squad. So that will do it for turn 2 with the Votann. So Chaos Space Marine at 16, Votann at 20. That is going to be the end of the turn as we go into Chaos Space Marines turn 3. Turn 3 with Chaos Space Marines, and we have gone up to 26 points, 8 from primary, 2 for the banners that we have raised. We are trying to keep the middle, keep our objectives as much as we can. So in that, the Demon Prince has moved back to deal with the Hearthguard and I'm Here Champion that are in my back lines, while the Mauler Fiend and Terminators have moved up to start contesting the middle of the board from the land fortress and the remnants of this squad of warriors. We also moved forward a little bit with the 2 remaining Havocs, and the 10-man squad with pistols and chainswords got out of their transport, accompanied by the Lord in Terminator armor. So they are going to make it a fight for the middle. In the psychic phase, we're going to get started with the Sorcerer. Sorcerer is just going to try to psychic interrogation the champion. On a 4, I do not believe that will make it. And I think I'm going to have to... Yeah, I'm going to spend my CP reroll here. On a 6, that should do it. And then the Demon Prince, probably not going to be too long for this world, so he is just going to smite into the Hearthguard with a 9. Dice off the table for 3 mortal wounds. In the shooting phase, a lot of my shots are going to go off as kind of chip shots. So the Havocs have decided to scan this objective in the middle for the mission bonus. That'll be 3 points, taking me up to 32. Then most of the shots I'm going to do off camera. The pistols, bolt gun, and bolt guns over here are all going to reach out and try to take some of these Hearthguard warriors out, as well as the Havoc launcher and combi bolter from the Rhino. So it's going to be a lot of small shots going into that one squad. All the small shots from the pistols and the bolters didn't do any damage. We did take away the 0 damage from the metapack, but other than that, nothing went through. So now what we're going to do is these Terminators are going to go into that same squad, just because I think 5 Terminators into 5 Hearthguard Warriors. I'm pretty safe to say that they will be dead in melee. I want to try to start whittling other targets down in shooting. So, total of 20 shots with rapid fire. No rerolls since the Demon Prince had to go off to do his own thing. And then we'll be wounding on 5s. Ooh, lots and lots and lots of 6s. Which, because it's AP 0, going to make -1, won't do anything. So this will just be a bunch of 3-up saves. Right, so a pair of wounds taken there. So we will just take the 2 wound thing out of that squad. And then that'll be done for shooting, other than the Land Raider. The Land Raider is about done trying and failing to take that darn land fortress off the board. So all of its shots are going to go downfield into the squad of Hearthguard, trying to make sure that this backfield nuisance is a nuisance no longer. Since we only have a single wound left on one of them, I'm going to get started with the heavy bolters on 3s. And then 5s into 6s, so 5s to wound. 2 wounds at an additional AP, so -2 goes to -1. 3-up saves, make both of those. We'll do the combi bolter, just try to fish out that last wound. At a 2-up save, makes it. And then finally, the las cannons on 3s. Just the 1. At -3 goes to -2, so 4-up save. Nothing there, so that will take one of them out. With that, we are done with the shooting phase from the Chaos Space Marines. So now we are good to get going into the charge phase. The Warlord, Demon Prince with Wings, is going to charge into the Hearthguard. I'll also declare the champion, because I don't think I can get out of heroic intervention range from him. With an 8, that will definitely get me into both. Then next up will be this squad of Terminators. Even on a double 1, they make it in, just barely though. The Mauler Fiend into the Land Fortress on a 6. We'll make it in. And then this is where Overwatch is going to be spent. The big melee squad into the Pioneers. Overwatch was able to kill 2 of the Legionnaires, but then the rest of them and the Terminator Lord all got into close combat with the Pioneers. So that's going to do it for the charge phase. In the fight phase, the Votann do have 2 CP to interrupt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the Demon Prince where I know he's actually going to be effective. So he will be the first one to fight, and he's going to pour all of his attacks into the Hearthguard, just to try to get them off the table. 6 attacks from the Demon Prince hitting on 2s. And I did choose to go into the melee Wonton, so that 6 will explode. Now we are strength 8 into toughness 6, so 3s to wound. So 1 misses, 1 will get an additional AP. So these 3 will be at -3, go to -2, so 4-up saves. Make 1, fail 1. And then the 6 will be at a -3, so a 5-up save. Makes it there. And then the 1 attack with the Malefic Talon on a 2. Then strength 7 on a 3. Nothing there. So only 1 of the Hearthguard left in the squad, but the other one is the unit champion, the Hessier, and he will be able to fight in. But with that, nowhere I want to interrupt with any of the Leagues of Votann, so we'll go through the rest of the Chaos Space Marine fights now. Next up, we're going to go with the Mark of Slaanesh squad into the Bikers. They do have the icon, so their attacks are going to be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s thanks to the Lord, exploding 6s to hit as well. So I do not think these Bikers are, well, maybe. They're tough, so on 2s, rerolling my 1s. So that'll be a full round of hits, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional hits into the squad. So there's 4, 5, 6 additional hits. And then wounding on 5s. I'll do the wounding and the saves off camera. So 6 wounds got through, killing 1 and bringing the heavy weapon bike down to 1 wound. Now we're going to do the Tainted Chain Axe on the unit champion, hitting on 2s. So that'll be out of 4 attacks, 6 hits. And then 5s, 3 at -1, so 4-ups. Will kill the Biker, so that will be 2 dead and 1 still alive in the squad. But now the Chaos Lord and Terminator armor is going to go with his 6 attacks, hitting on 2s. So make 1 and then, or fail 2, but 1 explodes. So now wounding on 4s, thanks to being strength 6. Ooh, only the 1 at -3, so a 6-up save. Nope, and that'll be 2 damage, so 1 wound left on the last Biker. So pretty impressed, personally, that the 1 still survives. Over on this flank of the battlefield, the Terminators cleaned up the rest of the Warriors. Got a Judgment token in return, but considering that drives the warriors off of this objective, and only one objective marker for the leagues right now. That will hopefully be enough to make up for it. Then our last fight, until we get the strike backs from the Votann, is the Mauler Fiend into the Land Fortress. So, 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Missing twice, but 1 explodes. And then wounding on 3s will be 3 wounds at -3. Goes to -2, so 4 up saves. Ooh, fail all 3 of those. That'll be 3d3 plus 9 damage. Or well, I'll 0 one of them out. So it'll be 2d6 plus 6. So 3, 4, 10 wounds taken onto the Land Fortress. Here we are at the end of the fight phase. The Land Fortress approximately did not do anything back to the Mauler Fiend, nor did the one Pioneer. I did, unfortunately, lose the Demon Prince to the Hearthguard and the Einherjar Champion. So this back corner is probably going to be tied up, funnily enough, by these 2 singular models, with a Land Fortress and a Sorcerer, all being all that is back here to defend them. But with that, we are controlling 4 out of the 5 objectives. That's going to be another point on Adorn the Canvas, bringing us up to 5 points on that secondary and 34 in total, to 20 to the Leagues of Votann as we go into Leagues of Votann turn 3. Leagues of Votann turn 3. We're up to 24 points on our score. In the command phase, the Forge Master gave the 4 wounds back to the Land Fortress to bring it back up a little bit. The lone remaining biker on the field has fallen back just to this objective in the very, very back, hoping to just kind of sit there and score some primary points, or secondary points rather, at the end of the game. Not a lot of movement, really, because we're starting to get down to not a lot of assets left on the board for either side. Well, actually both sides have assets, but I think this will be the turn where we start to see both armies getting thin on the ground, depending on how things go. The big melee squad is in trouble. It's kind of pincered between the melee threat of the Berserkers and the shooting of the squad of warriors, while the Einherjar and the Champion are both back here ready to charge on into the Land Fortress. So that is movement and command phase. Psychic phase is going to be a quick one. We're going to start off with a Smite on a 5. Just doing the 1 onto one of the Legionnaires, and then we will attempt to fortify, just making it on the Berserkers. So with that, we are good to go to the shooting phase. So we will come back in shooting. We're going to start off with the squad of warriors here in the middle. Everything that they've got is going to go down into the squad of Legionnaires here. So starting off with all of the bolt guns. Hitting on 3s, rerolling my 1s. They don't have any markers on them, but they will count as having 1. Then strength 4, toughness 4. Gets us 3 more wounds at -1 AP. Will be 3 failed, so that'll kill 1, 2 of the Legionnaires. And then the heavy weapons, starting off with the focused missile launcher, misses, and then the Magna Rail rifle will also miss. So 2 of them done and done, but that's going to do it for their shooting. Next up, only other big shooting threat is the land fortress, and it's got to pump everything that's got into the Mauler Fiend that's got it tied up right now. So 1 CP on Infernal Engine for -1 damage onto the Mauler Fiend from the land fortress. I'm also spending 1 CP to make the land fortress automatically hit with its big gun. I am on 10 wounds, so I don't have to do Bastion running to act as full, since I'm on my top bracket. So, strength 14 into toughness 7 of a Mauler Fiend is a 2 to wound. And of course that is a 1. And I think we still really need to make sure that we try to get the Mauler Fiend out of our way. So that will be a 6 to wound. That would spill over, but doesn't really matter since it's a 1 wound or 1 model unit. -4 AP will go against the demon save of the Mauler Fiend. Not gonna make it, unfortunately. So 2d3 plus 6 damage. So 2 plus 6 is 8. Goes down to 7. 7 wounds taken onto the Mauler Fiend. All the rest of the shots resolved from the land fortress off camera, and I was kind of surprised that I was able to kill the Mauler Fiend. So weirdly enough, that's actually the first time I've killed something with a judgment token on it. We'll finally start scoring ancestors that are watching there. So that is 1 unit down that I don't have to worry about. And now it's basically, can the Terminators do it on their own? So that will do it for the charge phase, or shooting phase rather. Now going into the charge phase, I'm going to start off with the Berserkers into the Legionnaires over there. Getting it with a 10, so no problems there. Then I will charge in with the Einherjar Champion first. Getting it with an 8. I will Overwatch here with the land fortress, so that'll bring me down to 0 CP. But then does the other one get in? Ooh, it does not actually get in. I measured off camera and I needed 3 inches. And I don't... Yeah, we're down to 1 CP. You know what? It's a 3-inch charge. I'll CP reroll it for the kin. Just getting it. Wow. So, swings and roundabouts, I suppose. We lost the Mauler Fiend for the Emperor's Children's, but we got a single hit through with one of the las cannons and was able to fully kill the Einherjar Champion. It was d6 plus 1 damage, since he's -1 damage, rolled a 4, up to 5. Only 5 wounds on an Einherjar Champion that doesn't have the Weave Field crest. So that's 1 singular Hearthguard into the Land Raider to try to kill it. I don't think she'll be able to make it, and I think I might be able to hold this back corner of my deployment zone a lot easier than I thought I was going to be able to. So that's everything for Chargers, the Warriors, the Land Fortress. None of the other characters are going to charge in. So we are going to start off with the Berserkers into the Legionnaires so that they don't get a free interrupt. So I will come back to you with a summary of the fight phase. So at the end of the fight phase, here we are. The Land Raider took 1 wound, or 1 chunk of damage from the hammer, bringing him down to 9 wounds remaining. The Berserkers were able to kill off the remaining 6 Legionnaires in that squad. So we are 26 points for the Leagues of Votann. So we still have a pretty tough spot in that we're only really comfortably on 1 objective right now. But we are going to round 4 with the Chaos Space Marines, and they are starting to lose some of their better assets. You know, we only have 3 Legionnaires over here, Terminator Captain, and a Rhino here in the middle, 5 Terminators, a Land Raider, and a Sorcerer. So not the most on the board, but I think it could be anybody's game as we go into Battle Round 4. Turn 4 with the Chaos Space Marines, and we have jumped up to 48. So scoring the big 12 on primary and getting 2 points for our banners. We are definitely in control of, maybe not the center, but we're definitely in control of most of the board. But there are still a lot of big units that are potential issues near the end of the game from the Votann. But we are in a pretty good spot in terms of a lead for primary. So hopefully we can carry that through the rest of the game. In the command phase, the 2 Havocs continue to get their full or reroll 1s from the Terminator Lord. Terminator Lord's also going to try to mop up the rest of the Votann warriors that are in the squad after the Terminators and everybody else is done shooting them, while the Sorcerer is positioning to try to get rid of this lone Hearthguard so that I can free up the Land Raider. And speaking of, I'm going to go right into the Psychic phase, and I really need to try to make a smite into her on a 6. That'll get it. And I really need this to be a 3-up. Alright, so 2 mortal wounds to the last Hearthguard. We'll take her off the field and free up the Land Raider's shooting. And the Land Raider is freed up as we go into the shooting phase. So we are going to split fire as always, even though that hasn't been the best use of it. Still trying to make the best use of its guns. So the Heavy Bolter and Storm Bolter is going to go into the Warriors. Meanwhile, the quad las cannon is going to try to continue chipping away at this land fortress. So 4 shots from the las cannons first. Wish I was still in our heavy doctrine, but oh well. Forced wound, make 1, fail 1. Then on a 4-up, we'll make it with a 5. Hey, so that'll be the shots from the las cannons. Now the heavy bolters into the warriors. Just the 1 miss. And forced to wound. So 2 of these at a 3-up save. And then 4-up saves. Fail both of those. So 1 will be zeroed out thanks to the medic, and 1 will actually be taken. So I'm going to take this. I don't know why I have 2 Medipack backpacks in the squad. They're only supposed to have 1, but that will be it. And then finally, the Stormbolter misses horribly there. Next up, we're going to go on to the las cannons from the Havocs into the land fortress. Make 1, make both on 4s. And even if this one fails, I still have the ability to zero it out. And of course, it doesn't fail anyway. This vehicle will never die. Then after that, the only shooting left is all the bolters and bolt weapons into the warriors right here. So all the shots from the Terminator Lord, the Terminator Squad, the Rhino, and the 3 Legionnaires over here are going to try to whittle down these warriors. So, shooting phase was able to take a couple more warriors off the board, and then in charge phase, the Chaos Lord is right in front, or right in melee with the warriors, while the Terminators have mated in with the land fortress. No CP left for the Leagues of Votann, so nothing cute there. I'm just going to go through the fight phase for the Chaos Space Marine turn 4 and come back to you with a summary. At the end of the fight phase, the Warrior Squad was taken down by the Terminator Lord, 2 wounds taken off of the land fortress from the Terminator squad, and the land fortress didn't do anything back to him. In terms of points scored, we didn't do any more actions to raise daggers or complete the bonus. So the only points on secondaries we'll get are 1 point for Adorn the Canvas, since we killed something in melee. So that'll bring us up to 49 for the Chaos Space Marines as we go into Leagues of Votann turn 4. Leagues of Votann turn 4. We're up to 30 points with still only 1 objective under our control. And the name of the game is just going to be try as hard as we might to kill as much as we can. So the Berserkers and the Grimnir are going to try to kill this Rhino through melee and a good smite, while the Land Fortress was brought up to 12 wounds again, so still top bracket on everything and shooting into the Terminators now, trying to kill them or get them more dead. And other than that, we are kind of running out of assets. Thought that the Chaos Space Marines were running out of assets, but now it's the Votann running out of assets. So we shall see. Going through the turn real quick. We're done moving on to Psychic. We will smite from the Grimnir on an 8. Do 2 mortal wounds to the Rhino. And we'll also try to fortify on a 6 the Berserkers. So that'll be Psychic. Shooting phase is pretty much just the Land Fortress into the Terminators now. 3 of the Terminators were taken out in shooting from the Votann shooting, thanks to the Magna Rail and the bolt cannons. So that is everything for shooting phase. Now we are going to go on to Chargers. I would have the CP to overwatch with the Rhino, but I don't really see a need to. So 8 inches with the Berserkers. Mostly just trying to get as much range as we can with the Berserkers. After the fight phase has concluded, the Berserkers were able to kill and explode the Rhino, costing them 1 of their own numbers, but also killing 1 of the Havocs in the center. Over here, we took a single wound off of the Land Fortress with the 2 Terminators, but that's about everything that we did over there. So it is 32 for the Leagues of Votann, 50 for the Chaos Space Marines, 42 for the Votann if you count the lay claim that they're going to score at the end of the battle, or most likely score at the end of the battle. So it's fairly close, but we still have a lot of board control for the Chaos Space Marines as we go into round 5. Turn 5 with the Chaos Space Marines. We are now up to 64 to 32 against the Votann. And last turn of the game for CSM, we are just going to summarize. The Land Raider has moved forward, as has the Chaos Lord, to try to take care of 1 last unit, the 2nd Chthonian Berserkers. Just try to take them off the table, make sure they can't claim this objective in the center. The Terminators are pretty much just going to be let die over there from the Land Fortress. It's not really going to be doing much other than killing them. And other than that, you can't really get anything on Psychic Interrogation or Banners. We got the 8 there. So probably should have tried to raise a banner in the middle, but there were a couple of spots where I thought the Votann might be able to hold that one. So c'est la vie. So we're going to come back at the end of the turn with a summary. And at the end of Chaos Space Marine turn 5, and the last turn of the game for them, They are going to end it on 65 points. We were able to kill the Chthonian Berserkers in combat with Lord after the combined shooting of the Land Raider, Havoc, and Legionnaires. We're able to take 3 of them out. 2 more wounds were done in the melee against the Land Fortress. Nothing done against the Terminators. So it is currently a more than double point lead, so 35 to 32 in favor of Chaos Space Marines as we go into turn 5 and wrap up the game. And this is the way the world ends, as Winters says. It is a victory for the Chaos Space Marines with a score of 65 to 47 in favor of Emperor's Children. So in the turn 5 Votann, which I did off camera, I was able to kill the Terminators, getting me 2 more points on Ancestors Are Watching. The Forge Master advanced up to get this objective again, so holding 2 against their 3 for 8 points on primary there. But unfortunately, with so many units, or actually every single unit still has judgment tokens on them at the end of the game, that's going to lose me 5 points on that. So really only a net of 1. Neither of the objectives that I was able to scan for Prospects of Wealth ended up being rich resource veins, or whatever the book calls them, so no extra 3 points for holding either of those, unfortunately. I was able to get my lay claim objectives in the backfield with the speeder and the call, but not enough in this game to win it. So, definitely designed this Chaos Space Marine list to do exactly what it did. Bully for the middle, set down those banners, and really just fight, fight, fight everything that even got close to the middle of the board. Kind of surprised that I still have as much standing as I do in terms of Chaos, with the Land Raider and a Havoc still on the board after the Land Fortress was basically not bothered the entire game, other than maybe the last 2 turns by the Terminators. And the Grimnir also was kind of unbothered, just constantly sitting on this flank, hammering down some smites and fortifying. So, hope everybody enjoyed the battle report. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not, like the video, and comment. It's the best way to get my videos out to new viewers. And I'll see all you folks on the next battlefield of the 41st Millennium.